Everybody, we are live. Welcome to another Surviving Quarantine by Spreading Life. And I am so excited today that I have Cordelia here. She is an amazing woman that I have met. And actually, again, in the LinkedIn world, like I met Kevin, and through Kevin, actually, is how I met you. And it is just amazing to have you on. And as I've gotten to know you more, it's the thing that I like the most is that how your love and your drive for people, but it's specifically women, and being an emotional, transformational person and a strategist and helping people to get where they want and need to be in life. So with that, I do want to ask everybody that's watching, please continue to like, subscribe, and share as we continue to bring positivity to your newsfeed. That is our goal with this. And we're going to get in on our discussion on the comment or on the topic, I'm fine. So to get it started off, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So thank you for that. And it's been great connecting with you also, Emily. So I'm the emotions opener transformation strategist, and I'm also a speaker and author, but my passion is really guiding women leaders to use their difficult emotions to show up powerfully. And, I kind of came through that as I left corporate, being a resentful person, and then I decided to homeschool my 6 kids. And I thought, wow, that's not any easier. So, this theme of emotions has been kind of a through thread of my life for a couple of decades. So.
I love that. And that's something that I want to talk about today is emotions. And that statement of I'm fine, because a lot of times we say I'm fine, but for me, the definition of fine is it's either frustrated, insecure, feeling like you're not good enough. And it's just that you are empty, really, that you just don't feel whole at times. But you're like, I'm fine, I'm good. And I know I've even said that. And it's in this passive aggressive movement that sometimes we have towards others because we don't know how to express our words or express our emotions. So let's start our topic with that, with I'm fine. When people say I'm fine, what do you hear?
Well, it's not so much what I hear. I always look at someone's facial expression, right? So you can always see the tension in their face, like around their cheeks, or maybe water in their eyes, right? And so, I try to see the person. And then, I'll just say something relatable, like if we're in a situation, I'm sorry, I'm fasting, so I can't drink water. But like if we're in a situation where it's obviously something rough is going on, just something easy these days is, you go to the grocery store and like everything on their list, they don't have it, right? And, they're coming out the store and you can see that they're just like, I'm like, hi, how are you doing? And I usually smile and greet people that way to kind of, that everyone's feeling a little tense these days. So to just make them feel better. And if they say I'm fine, I'll say, well, we're all fine, but how are you feeling? And then that makes them pause with it, right? Because I just letting them know that I'm not just someone passing by you. If I'm here to listen if you have something that you want to share or you need to like unload. Yeah.
I love that. And that's that part of I feel you, I hear you, I see you aspect that I see in that. And just letting people know that you're human and that you have taken the time to be there. And here's something that I hear a lot of times whenever I hear people say I'm fine. The back end, the people that are hearing it mean they hear out, you need to be fixed. And that's not it. That's not it. But as humans, we like to fix things. So what advice would you give to somebody that maybe their spouse is saying, I'm fine? What would you say to them?
So I'm speaking for a man. Am I talking to the husband who's saying that his wife is okay? You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's say it's the husband and he's like, I know that she's just going nuts, but she keeps telling me she's fine. What do I do? And, my advice to him would be pay attention to the things that seem to upset her the most. Like, when do you see her just huff and puff? And what does she ask you actually to do? Because sometimes well, I'm the only one that can blah, 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 right? That is her wish list of, could you please help me with, doing the dishes, folding up the laundry, getting the kids to bed, So, yeah. But if it's the woman talking about her husband, right, how do I get him to open up to me? And he always says, I'm fine. Again, it's the advice is really not different, except for, understand his love language. What does he respond to? Does he respond to the things that you do, the things that you say, or when you touch him? Like what is it that lights him up? And that's the way you get past the I'm fine.
I like that you talk about love languages, because even for my coaches, before or in the process of after they're hired and that they're come on, my employees, I ask them, what's your love language? And they're like, what? And actually the irony is that most of them already know what it is. And so, but it's the communication, is the expectation of how do you receive? And for us, love is to be patient, kind, honest, understanding, non-judgmental. Like that's and it's not like this ooey gooey type of love. It is actually just to love people, like, and with actions, and love can happen without words. So with the love languages, I've always found that listening for, like you just said, and finding out what they're fussing about a lot can really tell a lot without shutting down. So how do you listen without shutting down?
Okay, so really easy technique is you turn your entire body towards the person and look in their eyes, right? Because how often do we have conversations where we never really look at each other's faces, and definitely we don't look in their eyes, right? But if you turn your body towards someone and you're like, I'm going to give you my full attention right now. Could you please repeat what you just said? I want to make sure that I heard you, And for yourself, that is kind of like the start button of, okay, turn on your unconditional love and compassion button now. You have to change your physical position in order to do that. Yeah.
And I like that you said I, and using the word I instead of the word you, because you is an attack word. And I didn't learn that until a while down in the marriage. And because you need to fix this, you need to do this, you need this, instead of saying it from my perspective, like I feel, or I know, or it's my opinion, but it's not casting or forecasting on who that person is. So what's the importance of having I statements versus you statements in conversations where people are like, I'm fine?
I guess that lets them know that you're connecting with them. That's the main thing. I want you to know that I see you. I want you to know that I care. That's a connection. And that's the last time we really had that depth of connection was probably as a child with a parent, right? Some people had closer relationship with mother and some with father. So we kind of lose that as we go along, right? As we get older and as we move out of the honeymoon phase of our marriages, right? Or relationships, intimate relationships. So just really being keen on that connection. It always matters,
And I think that is coming from the heart, and seeing when people say I'm fine. Like I'll say this morning, I was frustrated this morning, to be frank and to be honest. And I actually listened to a thing that Kevin did with a co-author. I forgot it. I should know it. But he talked about like the different struggles that people have between ands, like, so say about optimism and realism. And what they were saying is that in between those tensions is actually like, it's not work versus life, it's work and life. So how do we lean into these tensions and discomforts of like this? I'm fine, but I'm not, but I want to be optimistic. So realistic with optimism. How do you blend those together in these aspects?
Right. So as the person, first of all, be honest with yourself. Instead of saying, I'm fine, obviously we can't like bare our soul to everybody we talk to, right?
Yeah.
But, within reason, be honest with yourself. A statement like, I'm grateful, or I'm working on being grateful today, is super honest. You're being honest with yourself, and you're being honest with the other person, because remember, when we interact with someone else, that gives them permission to be themselves too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to all keep up the facade. So as far as the two tensions between, yeah, it's sometimes I have to catch myself. I go through 16 different emotions in a day, right? So I go from like, oh my gosh, like I told you, I'm spring cleaning. I'm like, I'm not going to get this done. And then, my room is also the place where all the clean clothes baskets live, right? So like it gets sometimes during the day where I'm like, I'm spring cleaning and people are still bringing their clean clothes baskets here. And oh my gosh. But then it's like, well, wait a minute. The reality is there's 7 people living here and each basket belongs to somebody. So these baskets are not going to live here all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my project, I picked like a corner of a room per day to do. And I know that by the end of the day, by the end of the time that I have energy is my end of my day, right? So clearly defining what your boundaries are, what your goals are, and what your desires are for yourself first. and just being realistic with, like, I know I'm fasting and I know that I have limited energy, so I'm going to do like a 2x2 in my room.
Yeah.
Right. And then being firm with the boundary of the baskets, right? Just like, okay, you come and get your basket, do your thing. And then my overall desire for the day. So if we do that, lean into that for ourselves, it can, help to keep us more realistic with expectations. And then that's the other thing, we won't project so much, and that I'm fine won't be like, I could very well, like my husband comes in with another basket, I'm fine, like another basket. No,
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, okay, really, babe, can you do the basket now? And he's like, okay, I see you're working hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And let's talk about that a little bit more about the danger of leaning into the passive aggressiveness that seems comfortable at times.
It's
To do.
not. I mean, it's just what is that called? It's like a spark ready
Mm-hmm.
to light a fire. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. It's just, and I'm saying this. I've been married for 21 years, so like the first 2-3 years, I was like queen bee of being passive aggressive. Oh, that's fine. Oh no, I'll get it. And now I'm just, and it got to a point one day where I was literally pulling out my hair and projecting a lot. And it sounded like nails hitting the wall. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what it felt like inside of my body was heart palpitations. I was really young and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to die? Like I knew I was going to have a heart attack kind of thing. And there's no reason to live like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just healthier to just come clean. Look, we've got, a toddler and a baby and I can't do it all. I do need your help.
Oh yeah.
And I, at that time, I was even working and had a stressful job. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really can't do it all. So don't get yourself into that, because what it looks like, I have friends that were that person and continue to be that person for these 20 years that we've known each other. And they got adrenal fatigue, actually had strokes, breast cancer. So this is the other side of continuing to be passive aggressive. It shows up in your health. and, they have joint chronic pain kind of things. And this is because that's where our emotions live. They live in all the places that you're trapping your emotions. So if it's all your relationships, you're going to have like respiratory problems, or, heart problems. If you're stressing yourself out, you have to stay up all hours of the night to do all the things. It's going to wear out your thyroid, So, yeah.
I call that, well, it's called a somatizer. So people that actually self-harm by not releasing. And I'll tell you, I'm one of them. So, and mine actually, I didn't learn this until later on, that mine actually has caused a lot of my gut issues. And it's because I hold in and don't. So what you're saying actually does have some scientific backing to that too, to show that we know that stress is cortisol. Cortisol affects our metabolism. It affects our infections. It affects our inflammation. It affects so many other parts of our body and how we regulate it. It is one of the biggest things that you can do is look at stress management and having your emotions. So that's what I'm very appreciative for you, that you are open about your dialogue on the importance of having these emotions and having these conversations. So to kind of end it out or have some final conversations on this, what are like 3 main tips that you would give people today to address I'm fine?
First of all, every day make the intention to ask yourself, what is it that you desire to create today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the second question would be, who do you have to be, or who do you need to get on your team to make that happen? And then, last of all, just make sure that you're committed to being honest with yourself about your emotions and showing up powerfully that way. And I just want to, Emily, say one more thing. A lot of the research that I base my work on is like Dr. John Sorno, who he studies chronic pain, and one of the prototypes are perfectionists, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that really suffer with that, and they're the first ones to say I'm fine, and yeah, there's just like so many different doctors and everything. So, and also in my work in Unani Tib, which is the traditional Islamic medicine, just understanding foods that you can eat to help you to release, because we feed the flame also by having acidic foods in our diet. You're eating a lot of sugar, drinking a lot of alcohol. I know like a lot of people are drinking more that they're home. And they make jokes about it. It's like, oh, I'm day drinking, ha ha ha. Let's just like replace that drink with a glass of warm water or cold water, depending on what's going on for you at the moment, and see yourself. Allow yourself to see yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because I will say that was something that I've done is through this break, I have fasted from alcohol. And there was one morning I felt hungover, and I wasn't, because I hadn't had any alcohol. I was sleep deprived, and I just was so stressed. And the awareness that other days I'd be like, I just drink too much. It was actually like, hey, I need to like slow down. I need to assess where I'm at. And so that's something that I think is very important in the aspect of, can you even be aware if you're fine? Is your awareness to know that, are you coping with unhealthy behaviors? I actually posted about this on LinkedIn, and I stated, are you even able to feel? Because I know for me, I used to just numb things, and it was like this stoic, you don't feel. Because when you feel, you're more vulnerable, you're open, like that's something you don't do. Like for me, it was like, I come from this image and I need to stay in this image. And it derived from perfectionism. And so the reality of it is in that I was just doing unhealthy behaviors that actually impacted my life 6, 7, 8 years down the road that I didn't know. So I guess that's the other reason why we bring these topics on, because it has greater impact than we think, and we can mask it. And masking our behaviors can ultimately really hurt us in the end. So I appreciate you for your honesty and for your openness. And and doing what you do best, being an emotional transformational strategist and coming up with ways and strategies that we can be better, but also do it together. So I appreciate you on that.
Absolutely. And fun fact, emotions really last like 90 seconds. So it's like, really? You can't do that? Just lean into it.
I love it. Love it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an awesome and blessed day.